I live in the world of recovery. Everybody knows this by now. Turning a negative into a positive. This is so vital and important in our lives. The recovery has to come first. Without my recovery, I don't have my kids, family, business. I don't have these things without recovery. The way we succeed is not by being great and doing great things. We succeed because when everything is hitting the fan, we are making it through that. I've had family struggles. I've had relationship struggles. I've had my own struggles. If you're going through a crippling stretch of depression, if you just relapsed, if you just got cheated on, if you just lost your job, it is going to suck at first, but there's a reason why it's happening. What is up, guys? Michael DeCecco back here from Timeless Protection, and we protect vets. This is another Timeless Talk. Things are going very well for the business. Things are going very well personally, and I just want you guys to enjoy the content. We're getting a lot of good feedback. We're getting a lot of good energy, I guess would be the word, from our videos. So we're just trying to grind and push and get better every day. That is what this is all about, guys. So if you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow us. Also, if you're looking for employment, let me know. We are always hiring. And I wanted to, first off, say thank you again to my mother and father for letting me interview them. The video came out great. It was very real. It was very raw. It was amazing. And at the end of the day, it's important to get the, family's perspective. I even learned things that I hadn't really known even throughout afterwards when everything has started to go very well. So again, thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you guys. Again, Timeless Talk. My name is Mike DeCecco. What we do is we are an insurance agency. We're a group of insurance professionals that have banded together to pretty much ensure that consumers transparently understand insurance plans. It is very confusing. Any type of insurance plan, home, auto, life, whatever it may be, there's so much fine print, and we want to make sure consumers understand it. And at the end of the day, if they want to bless us with taking on their policies, sure, we will do it. We will find you the best coverage, period, for whatever you're looking for. But all we really care about here is that you're transparently guided. You're not overpaying and you're not in the wrong plan. So that being said, I live in the world of recovery. Everybody knows this by now. I'm very open and honest about it. And one thing that I have learned and taken out of all the madness that I have gone through in my life is turning a negative into a positive. I think that this is so vital and important in our lives. If you can see the positive out of something terrible, which is very hard to do. It took me forever to learn this. And as I grow as a leader and a business owner, I think it's very, very, very important that we find the positive out of the negatives that have happened. Like, just for example, on my side, the last month or so for work, while it has been great and we are helping tons of consumers, tons of veterans, they're saving money, there are behind the scenes operations that have gone, I don't want to say sideways, but not as planned, right? So when something goes not as planned, people spiral, certain things spiral, systems spiral, whatever it may be, it has the potential to go in a negative way, right? Well, how do you find the positive out of that? How do you find the positive when you're used to a certain number or a certain cost or a certain just way of life? You're used to your system and everything is going good. Do you prepare for the negative? Have you endured the negative before? Did the negative take you out? Was it so bad that it just mushed the entire operation? There's a lot of negative that goes on a daily basis. And when you're in the insurance industry where consumers are just afraid to talk to people in the first place because everybody's out to scam people and put policies in place that are wrong. I spoke with a woman 2 days ago. She didn't need a policy. She didn't want a policy, but she didn't say no to a person on the phone with her. And they were so pushy with words and so just demanding that a policy was put in place, and the woman wanted a cremation. All she wanted was enough money for her kids to not have to pay for a cremation, which if you figure in inflation and she lives another 10, 15, 20 years, if there's no ceremony or nothing crazy, you're talking maybe 5, 6 grand tops, like probably way more than enough. But the policy was written for 20 grand and it was like $150 more a month than she needed to spend. This is a woman on Social Security with survivor benefits from the military from her husband. And it's not like she's got, tons of income streams here. Like, we've got to really pay attention to budget, and we've got to pay attention to how that affects the clients big time. A lot of people don't do that, which is wrong. So the positive out of the negative, right? We've gone through certain systems. We've tried this vendor, that vendor. At the end of the day, trying to take everything in-house and not use vendors, it's a difficult process. Is it worth it in the end? Yes, 100%, because you've got control over everything, right? You don't wake up one day and whoever you were relying on has turned the lights off, right? So taking everything in-house, to me, it's an essential move, at least in my industry, and it's one that we are going through right now. And I'll just be frank, right? Not crazy successful by any means, right? That's what we're striving for every day. But you don't want to let go of what you've got because you've never had it before. Like, the quote unquote cliche, spend money to make money. It is very true. But man, it's hard to let go of that. So as negative things happen and we're taking the positives out of them, basically what's happening is poking holes in my operation, and we're seeing how to fix them, and we're learning how to fix them, and we're fixing them better than what they originally were. It's difficult, man. It is really, really difficult to go through it. The thing is I've surrounded myself with people who are way smarter than me, and they work their butts off. And there's a weird sense of calmness in my body and my mind telling me, this is right. Now, as of late, I've had all the struggles. I've had work struggles. I've had family struggles. I've had relationship struggles. I've had my own struggles. So when you're in recovery, all of these things are going on. And for me, I've said it in videos before, I was the excuse user. So I look for anything. My brain or my disease looks for anything to end up walking out the door and possibly never coming back. So while all the madness is going on, my recovery still has to stay first, right? People have said before, like, you're selfish for putting your recovery first. How does that make any sense? Without my recovery, I don't have my kids, family, business, girl. I don't have these things without recovery. Recovery has to come first. So that being said, recovery has to come first. It doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't have anything without my recovery. So taking positives out of a negative, right? We lose one system, or that system slows down, or it doesn't perform as it is. We go ahead and we find somebody to be part of our team who is an absolute wizard with tech and software and code. And this dude, I swear to God, he craps widgets. This is what I say. I say it all the time. People laugh, but this dude can do anything. So, does it suck while it's happening? Yes. But did something positive come out of it? Yes. Right? When I think back to all the negative stuff that was going on in my life, I don't know how you can take a positive out of getting high every day. I don't know how you can take a positive out of not being around your kids and not working and mooching and, living off of what the government is going to give me, but I'm capable of working. I'm capable of earning money. And that takes away from the people who can't, right? The people that need this, the folks on disability, the folks who cannot work or need to be home. What you have to do when you're really struggling, taking positives out of negatives is a huge part of that. And this has been a big, big struggle. I've shared to you how life is great when things are great. But in life, right, like the way we succeed is not by being great and doing great things. We succeed because when everything is hitting the fan, we are making it through that. That is success to me. When doo-doo hits the fan and a lot of people would crumble in the situation and we prevail, that's success. Did it earn us a bunch of money? Success to me is not a financial thing. It is a spiritual thing. Obviously, finances are part of everything. Do we want to make money? Yes. Do we want to provide for our family? Duh. But inside, if you're going about that on a daily basis and you feel like trash and you hate yourself and there's no self-worth and, you're just living an awful toxic life, it's not the same. It's just not. But when you're spiritually ready to go and happy, even if things aren't the way you want it, but you're not out self-sabotaging, creating chaos, digging yourself into this monster hole that's going to take forever to get out of, it's just important to get through the hard times. You just learn more. You learn more through the hard times. So as of late, things have been up and down. They've been, bad. And when this happens, I either isolate, I shut down, I will turn my camera off on Zoom when I have my whole team on there with their cameras on, whether it's me not wanting to show my emotion, whether it's me just being a little depressed, whatever it may be, it's how I get. And when I start to isolate, I know that that's red flag number one, and I either need to look for the positive out of the negative that is happening to make myself feel better or to justify the feeling, I guess, but to also tell myself that it's going to be okay. Just because this is happening, now this is actually showing and working, and so much good is coming out of failure. And the F word that I've said a million times on here, it's almost like I feel repetitive in every video, but I feel like it's so important for people to understand that failure is failure. And when you're failing and you can take the positive out of the failure, that is success. That is what you package up or add to your tool belt, and you just keep going. And you keep having that happening to you until it doesn't happen to you anymore. And you have all the tools on your tool belt, and then you start to thrive, right? So we're in the phase right now of adding tools to our tool belt. It's difficult when you've got a team that relies on you to have certain things, have certain systems, have an operation to where they can provide for their own families, and it's a lot of pressure. So what positive do I take out of all the pressure? The fact that a lot of people's lives have changed for the better throughout this. And I don't even care if I'm struggling and they're succeeding. That makes me happy. I'm okay with the struggle, right? I think anyone who has been through addiction and come out on the other side, your skin is very thick. You're okay struggling. I'm okay in chaos, which is so crazy to say, but I'm comfortable being uncomfortable. I'm calm in the chaos. Most people are not, right? Most people, when it's chaos, they don't have the tool belt. They don't have the system. They don't have the support. That's when terrible things happen. This is what happened to me when I took my first opiate. I didn't have a support system. I didn't know what any of addiction, recovery, I had no clue. I was naive to it all. But now I can help others because I'm not naive to it. Now I can help others, smash the learning curve if they've got a child or someone going through it. So would I ever want to go through this again to learn the valuable lessons I have learned? Hell no. Hell no, because it was hell. It was hell. I was just talking to my therapist, and nobody wants to fail. Nobody wants to upset their parents. I didn't get invited to my best friend from childhood's wedding because I was in active addiction. And I had the audacity to throw a text out that was like, "What the hell, bro? You didn't freaking invite me." Dude, why would he, right? Why would he? That's his wedding day. Do you want nodded out Mike showing up to your wedding? No, absolutely not. What do I take out of that now? Well, we're boys still, obviously. And I've helped people around his life with their own issues. I don't want to go learn hard lessons to succeed. You can read about a bunch of stuff in a book. I've had therapists before who have never been addicts. I've had therapists who, were not drug addicts, or I've had counselors who were not drug addicts. And out of all the stuff that they're reading in the books, all of the years of work, if you haven't lived it, you can understand it. You can definitely understand it, but feeling it and living it is different. I always say it like this, hospitality industry-wise, because I've seen this happen a couple times. If you have a 16-year-old kid who starts out as a busser, and then he moves to a food runner, and then he moves to expo, and then he becomes a waiter or a bar back, and then he's a bartender, and then now he does behind the scenes stuff. Do you want that person running your restaurant, or do you want the college grad who's never been in a restaurant before with a business degree running your restaurant? I want the kid who has gone through it. I want the kid or the man or woman who has seen a full-blown Saturday night when everything is going wrong, ticket times are off, and people are unhappy, but we made it through the night. It happened at Jordan's. Not a ton, because that operation was well-oiled, man. It was that restaurant was a beast, or is still a beast. But occasionally, I remember on a New Year's Eve at one of the largest casinos in the country, at one of the busiest restaurants in the country, packed with reservations, we had a grease fire and had to shut down the restaurant. I had to walk up to tables of 6, 8 people with $2,000 worth of wine already poured and say, we can't serve you dinner on New Year's Eve. What did the restaurant and we learn from that? For that to never happen again. They did what they did back of the house, but it never happened again. Did they lose money? Did I lose money? It isn't about me. Were a lot of people upset? Were they looking forward to that dinner on New Year's Eve? Yeah, those people are probably still pissed off, but it never happened again. And this is the whole thing about seeing the positive. Sometimes it doesn't make it okay. Sometimes the positive is not enough to make what is happening okay. You're still going to be salty about it. You're still upset. But if you can just hold on to that little tiny positive, it could really go a long way. It really could. And it's so important in the world of entrepreneurship. It's so important. Truth be told, I don't want anyone to fail. I don't. Failing sucks. But as a 1099, the fastest way through the learning curve is failing through it. And then you have to talk to your leadership and then not letting it happen again. You're going to come to a point where you've hit your however many failures you see in the career or whatever. You're still going to have failure, but like the bumps and bruises of learning the business, and the positive is you're good to go. At the end of the day here, it's like, if you cannot take the positive out of a negative, if someone dies, is there a positive to take? Probably not. Maybe the only positive would be if they were suffering. Very hard to take a positive out of that, right? If someone is in active addiction, can you take a positive out of a negative? My parents didn't sleep for 15 years straight. I've got broken families. I had court battles. I had arrests. What's the positive? Well, the positive is me now, right? The positive is living a clean, healthy, happy life. But that's a lot of negative to try to overcome, And I think every single day we get through a little bit more of the negative or the past. I remember that my oldest son, Cameron, went through it. My oldest son went through hell when I was out being an idiot. And as we grew over the years, time has gone by and resentment has come out a few times, right? We were playing in a scramble golf tournament and my son he let out 10 years of pent up madness. And I was happy. Why was I happy? I was happy because I've been waiting for it and he needed to do it. And that's the positive of a very negative situation. It wasn't fun being yelled at by your son. It wasn't fun being, told you were this and that, and how disappointed your child is. That's probably the worst thing you could ever imagine going through, is your kid who you love and adore looking at you and saying, like, I wish you weren't my father, or I wish I was never around you. It will tear your insides apart. But he was happier afterwards. Not happier. He was more at ease. He felt like it needed to happen almost, and it did need to happen. And I was prepared for it. I just didn't know when it was coming. Happened to come on a golf course. And the positive out of that day right there was the start of my son and my journey past all the bullshit. So if you can't see that, if I would have just dwelled on the fact that my son laid into me and I got all butthurt over it and I told him I was all butthurt over it, what would it have done? It wouldn't have done anything. It wouldn't have done anything. So at the end of the day, if you're going through something right now, if you're going through a crippling stretch of depression, if you just relapsed, if you just got cheated on, if you just lost your job. I don't mean to sound corny and I don't mean to sound cliche, but like if you're a believer and everything happens for a reason, it's going to suck at first. It is going to suck at first, but there's a reason why it's happening. You know, maybe not depression, but when I went through my crippling depression, it made me figure out that I was in the wrong relationship with the wrong person in the wrong house, and I needed out. That right there changed my life. That decision right there changed my life. So looking back, is it a negative? Yes. Did I take the positive out of it? Yes. And it is so important to maximize or get everything you can out of the positive that happens from that negative, because it's a blessing. A positive out of a negative is an absolute blessing. Wasn't supposed to happen, because negative things are not supposed to happen. They do, but nobody tries to have things negative happen. So when you can get a positive out of a negative, it is a blessing. And you got to stack those blessings up if you have a whole lot of negative, because God almighty, for 2+ years, I really had no home. I was either on a couch, outside, a shelter, a basement, until, you put together a little bit of clean time. Someone has a little bit of faith in you. You get going for a little bit, and then, whatever happens. But all that negative gave me the blessing of recovery. Now, the blessing of recovery is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It's got me to where I'm at. And now in the blessing of recovery, I've got negatives. Life is hard, guys. I'm no better than you. You are no better than me. We are no better than the next person. Again, we're all out here just trying to survive. Be nice to people. Help people. Obviously, if someone is being a jerk or just an unethical a-hole or whatever they may be, you don't need to go do something negative to that person. They're creating their own negativity. They're creating their own self-sabotage. Hopefully, they get the positive out of their negative at some point. It's not nice to bully. So I've got a couple kids on my baseball team who were kind of bullies. And wrong coach to have if they wanted to continue to bully, because it's a zero tolerance on our squad. Any kid who's ever played for me on a team will know the first thing I say is this is zero tolerance. There is no bullying, and you do not laugh at anybody, because we are all in different skill sets and we all excel in different areas. So the person that's out there creating all this negative energy, what do they say? 2 negatives make a positive, right? Is that right? Been a long time. But if that's the truth, maybe people need a little bit of negative things in their life. Sounds stupid. Does. It sounds really dumb. Yeah, let's get some negative in my life. Let's do it. Nobody asks for that. Nobody wants negativity. Nobody wants to go through this stuff. But if you can see the other side of it and you can take the blessings out of it, I would ask for more. I'm okay with all the bad and negative and failure stuff happening to me. I've had 10 lifetimes of it. But because I've had 10 lifetimes of it, when it does happen to me now, I know how to approach it. I know how to soak it up for what it's worth. Now, if one of my family members dies, am I going to just take the positive out? Like, no, man. Like, there are negatives, again, that you don't see a positive from. But the ones that you do, or you can, take advantage of them. Take advantage of them. It's been a struggle the past couple months in a couple areas of our business. And it's a very competitive industry. It's a dog-eat-dog world. And we are a very unique group of very honest, very transparent, ethical people, where when we get on calls, the objective is not to sell a policy on every single call. The objective is to help people. Here's the positive out of a negative. Well, a lot of salespeople would say, why don't you try to make a sale on every call? Not everybody is ready to make a sale on every call. And I'm talking consumer-wise. You've never talked to the person you're talking to. They're randomly calling you off of an ad you filled out somewhere. They want to do things their own. A lot of people just want to take this stuff into their own hands and do it. where it's very, very difficult to do that with insurance. When you hear me say we sell by not selling, what it's turned into now is my company. We have people coming to us who watch our content, watch our videos, look at our testimonials of the people that we did help. And because we were so transparent, because we didn't try to sell them anything, they are coming to us to write their policies. We don't care to jam policies down people's throats. We just care that you understand the fine print, because the fine print monster in the world of insurance will bite you and your family terribly. You know, how many people out there have had a rock hit their windshield and then they figure out their, glass isn't covered by their insurance policy, which is really only one insurance carrier in the United States. It's a major one, and I have no idea why they don't fix windshields. But positive out of that would be you go get better insurance. When we're stacking up loss after loss after loss, it's got to turn around at some point. And if you've got the ability, the skill set, the leadership, the team, the system, it's going to turn around in a pretty good way. I feel like I'm being tested right now. I feel like I'm going through a period of time where God is putting these things in front of me to see what I do with them and see how I deal with them. And depending on how I do that, He's either going to bless me or not bless me. So it's all about being willing. It's all about having perspective. It's all about being honest, ethical. Because we don't try to sell a policy with everybody, that's respected by people. The beginning of my call is simple. Hey, I'm just going to kind of brief you on what we do as a company here. If you think we can be a service to you, we can proceed through the call. If not, let me know, because we've got tons and tons of vets to get to. It's that simple. To me, anyways. That may not work for the next guy. The next guy might just want to, hey, this is what you need. This is what you should do. Give me this, give me that. Now you have a policy. It just doesn't work on our end. And it's why we have a high persistency. It's why 90% of our policies stick. It's because we have people who see that we don't sell and that we're very credible and that we've helped a ton of people. And now it's showing in a positive way. Yesterday, I got the call. Hey, man, I went through the process. I checked out your site, checked out who you guys are. My wife and I need life insurance. I didn't even get to say anything yet. That was the call. That was the first intro to the call from him. That's like every business owner's dream, right? As a business owner, our goal is to have people coming to us ready to buy. Right? Ready to buy, meaning they looked into things. They saw who you were. They were referred, whatever it may be, but they did their due diligence and they are believers in you, and they come and they ask for help. I want that to happen 100 times a day, and we're not going to stop until it does happen 100 times a day. So when someone tells me, dude, you don't even try to write policies, that's not a negative to me. That's a positive to me. And I wish a lot of people would see that, to be 100% honest with you, because like the woman I was talking about earlier, she didn't even ask me who my name was. I said it in the beginning of the call. I knew she had forgotten it because I think she went to call me by name and then she changed it up a little bit. But she was like, I'm going with you guys anyways. And it's like, well, why? Why are you going? She's like, you're listening to me. You're helping me. You're not just selling me. And it's like, I have nothing to sell you. I'm just here to advise you. I'm here to show you things. If you want to bless us with the task, we'll take it on and we'll handle everything to the best of our ability. So where a lot of salespeople would see this as a major negative, it is starting to be a large positive. Does that mean it's happening 100 times a day like I want it to? No. Does that mean business might be a little bit slower because of the way we approach it? Sure. When business is slower, what happens? Is your revenue crushing it? No. But again, then you see the holes in the system. You plug them. With you and your team, you plug them. And things slowly just fall into place and get better and better and better. Obviously, I'm no guru. I'm not a therapist. I'm just telling you from experience that if you're not willing to do certain things, if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, if you're not willing to step out of your comfort zone or outside the box and try different things, you're never going to grow. You're never going to succeed unless you were lucky enough to just get it right. But being uncomfortable is a recipe for growth. Make yourself uncomfortable. Push yourself a little bit harder in the things that you're lacking in. Like for me personally, I started going to the gym recently and then just stopped. Sucks. I'm having trouble mentally. And the weird thing is I enjoyed the times that I went. Like, I really enjoyed it. But I've lived so long a certain way, doing push-ups and crunches every day, which, I think anybody should do. But I can't get it into a regimen, and I'm struggling with it. Why am I struggling with it? Trying to figure that out. Once I figure that out, that's the positive out of the little negative here, and then we're going to get in a routine. How did I get to that routine? Because I failed at it first, And if you're sitting out there stuck, if you're in a rut, if you hate your job, if you're just like over life right now, or if you're in a toxic relationship, usually things are going to get worse before they get better. If you could tell yourself that, and if you can just kind of embed that into your mind frame, guys, the world is yours, right? So like, I knew that when I was about to leave, the relationship that was very unhealthy in my life, I was still in the relationship, quote unquote, but I was happy because I had like mourned it, gotten over it, and was ready to go. I was like ready to go start my life, and then I went under the radar for 2 full years without talking to a female, aside from my mother and my sister and my niece or coworkers or whatever. But out of 2 years of like, I need to do me, I need to reset, I need to build my life. It's time for me. The first woman I met is who I love and who I fell in love with. The first person I decided to like talk to, and she decided to talk to me, and we mutually met, went on a date, and I've loved her ever since. Negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. If you can wake up and harness the negative to find a positive, a lot of things will change. A lot of good will happen. You'll also just be happier because you're not dwelling on the negative. And a lot of times, again, the negative is going to outweigh the positive, maybe for a certain period of time, maybe always. But if the positive comes out of it and the positive turns into something special, it was born from a negative. 2 negatives make a positive, right? So like, it's so crucial, guys. Recovery, entrepreneurship, active addiction, like whatever it may be, you still have to find that positive. So I appreciate everybody. I hope everyone is having a phenomenal day, phenomenal week, phenomenal hour, phenomenal minute. And tune in. Again, we're just trying to get better and better. Sometimes I feel like I talk about the same stuff, so we're starting to do some brain dump, some content. And if you have any ideas or you want to jump on and we can Zoom and talk and record or do whatever you want, let's do it. Let's help people. If there's something you've been through and you feel like it could help people, I want to talk to you because I want to learn, and everybody should want to learn. So God bless everybody. We love you. Like, subscribe, Timeless Talk. WeProtectVeterans.com or DayOneCoverage.com if you want to come see what we do, work your butt off, and probably, triple or quadruple what you make in a month. Can't make any promises here, but a lot of people have changed their lives. So come join. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We out.